Well, good everybody. Sorry about being a little bit late. Long story. Had to rush into work because we're moving office, as we've mentioned previously. Everything's chaos here, but we were setting up the new office, not in this building. And we thought, okay, got to do the tracker. We set it up on Jane's computer, had everything looking right. And every time we tried to engage the live, it would only last about 2 seconds before it sets up. It has you say go live, and you have to wait for about 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden it goes live. We get 2 seconds and it go off, and you try again and go off. So then we have to set it all up again, and we tried everything, and after about after about 7 minutes, we gave up, jumped in the car, come back into this office, and then set up again, and now we're mobile. So sorry about the delays, but anyway, we're here now, and it's a rainy day in Les Abdelons. And it's going to be a rainy day tomorrow, and we need to sort out stuff all outside of the place, and we can't do any of it. But anyway, we've built all the shelves and just sorting out desks and bits and pieces, so it's plenty happening. Anyway, we'll get straight into it so we can see exactly what's happening. Now, if I hit that, we should go to the tracker. Yes, it is. And then if I hit this, I can see the tracker. And there we go. So it's been kind of interesting to watch what's going on. Penjuic is streaming away, has been doing, slowed down a bit, been doing 10 knots again, slowed down to 8.8, possibly because the seas got up. You can see the system came through. It's still only blowing 30, but it's gusting 40 in amongst here. And it's gone over them now. But there was a wind shift, so the sea state could be a little bit crazy. Let's just have a look at what it's saying for the waves here. Yeah, they're up around 4 to 5s, so still a bit of a sea. Back here, it's still the 2s, but it's showing, you can see around here, it's showing confusion there. And here, not so much confusion, but maybe a dual wave set when the wind changed directions pretty quickly. So it's up around 4 or 5 meters there. Temperature wise, let's just have a look just for the second. Oh yeah, it's back in the 20s now, so that's not too bad. Clouds, it'll be cloudy up there, I reckon. Oh no, blue sky, look at that. The clouds just went through on that front with some rain and bits and pieces, so now they're in blue sky, so that's kind of cool. Plenty of blue sky through the rest of the fleet as well. So let's just stick at it. There's a bit of a hole happening here. This is the classic Azores high coming through, and there's still lots of confusion when you look at the weather. It's not settled by any stretch of the imagination. This isn't really I suppose it could be classed as a high, but it's convoluted because you've got this low pressure system here and another one up here, and there's something happening here. So the traditional highs are having a bit of a hard time, but that is absolutely a classic high, which is affecting the rest of the fleet down there. So let's now have a look at that. We'll start off with Explorer. Still having trouble with their head sails, obviously, because they've got a beam wind there. It's pretty much an easterly. And they picked up a little bit. They're only doing 5.5 in the previous 4 hours, but now the last 4 hours, they've got up to 6.3, done 119 mile day. They'll be happy with that, but perfect conditions. And Mark would be going for speed there because he's got a horrible luff. When I say speed and course, keep it on the beam, hit up here, and then as you get in these systems, there'll be a chance to come around when the wind goes behind the beam. So still not fast. It's going to be a long time before they get there. We're sorting out their visa issues, which is good. And they've got just 3,000 miles to go. Normally, I'd say 3 weeks, so 21 days on that. That'll make it a 28th, but they're not normal because of the head sail issue, the reefing issue. Stern has been doing pretty well here, doing 7 knots at the moment, and right up there with the rest of them. So not lagging behind at all because there's been this compression with the fleet. So that's allowed Stern a chance to catch up. And actually, it's interesting. So she's got 2,380, so 2.4. So the Explorer's 600 miles behind now. So anyway, that's pretty good. 2,383, and White Shadow's got 2,234. So about 140 miles or something behind White Shadow. And White Shadow's been doing 6.2, 126 mile day. Still a bit soft, so the trade winds there are not what I call extreme by any stretch of the imagination. Jeepers, I don't know how Triana's doing the 7.4, but she is. Obviously got everything up and going for it with their spinnakers. They don't have many sails on board, actually. I think they've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sails, 6 or 7 sails. They could have had up to 11 sails, but they've only got a few. So they don't want to pop any more spinnakers because they declared they've got 2 spinnakers on board, I think it is, which isn't a lot. So, but right now that must have something up. It's on the beam or a little bit after the beam, so probably a big asymmetric, not sure, but 7.4, pretty impressive. As I say, White Shadow's doing 6.2. Galliana is doing 6.7, and it's similar weather. So, yeah, they're really hightailing it. And normally Galliana, when it's on the breeze and light, they've got everything up as well. They have their mizzen staysail up and the spinnaker up. Oh, no, it's not. It's an asymmetric, so they can't put their golly wobbler up. No, not the golly wobbler, blooper. Golly wobblers for schooners. I learnt to sail on one of them, and we had a big golly wobbler. Anyway, Evrika, 6.3, 107-mile day. Tapio had done 138-mile day. And Triana did 142, so only took 4 miles out of Galliana. Anyway, they've got a problem with this thing in front of them, which is going to slow them down. They're probably looking at that on their weather facts. That would be pretty well defined, and so they know they've got a hole in front of them. So we'll have a look at how that develops in a minute when we run the weather forward 2 days. So Outlawed, 2.5. They've stopped in the middle of this. They were previously, in the previous 4 hours, were moving pretty well, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, what the hell? Where are they getting that from? But now it's starting to tell. So they've pretty much slowed right down, 86-mile day. And Maiden, very lucky, pulled through it, 156-mile day, doing 9.2. So that's the end of their challenge for now, but there's some other big holes coming in the future. Translated 9, their team's just arrived in Madeira. So they're currently doing 8 knots, pretty good. Downwind, weather's perfect, 67-mile day, not too bad. And they've got a distance to go to Madeira of around about 226 miles. So that's going to be about probably 2 days by the look of it. So today's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, sometime on Tuesday night or something, they might get there. That would be a reasonable guess. And the word is that, I don't know whether they've announced it officially yet, but we've had some discussions and they're very keen to make repairs and continue on. And there's no time limit for this last leg of the Ocean Globe race. So whilst they'd be outside the rankings, they can certainly finish the circumnavigation and be proud of that as well as everything else they've achieved. So plenty of staying power for Translated 9, that's for sure. I think most people will have seen that a video clip from Isabel. It was very passionate and very emotional, trying to describe the way they felt, about what was happening. And as they say, the boat broke, not the people, or not the humans. Anyway, Spirit of Helsinki roaring along, 9.7 and 192-mile day. And Neptune coming up to Alzheimer's Day too shortly. That's 8.9 knots, 184-mile day. All pretty good. They're well and truly in the breeze. And the Esprit de Keep, 9.4, 214-mile day. So that's all pretty good. Penjuic, 219-mile day, 8.8, and they were doing 10 knots, 10.1 I think it was for the previous set. So well and truly doing as predicted previously. But how long will it last? They're certainly not under threat if they can keep the boat together, but the weather, they've got to get ahead of this next calm coming. So we'll just watch this in big format. You can see a few of these things moving as we push it forward, and then I'll do a close-up to look at the weather. So we're mainly looking at Penjuic. You can see this new high. This is an Azores high. This would be called a northern Azores high, and this is a southern Azores high. But you can see the way highs and lows work. There's a low over here and there's a low there. These are obviously going to zip together. They're slipping around like they're on a grease paper or something. So now you can see it coming across. It's going to cause problems for L'Esprit de Keep at that point, because there's and the same here for Helsinki and so on. There's not a lot of wind in the middle here, and it's heading towards Penjuic like that, boom, boom, Anyway, we'll have a good look at that in a minute, and we'll just see. Then it goes over, right? And then you've got this big low pressure here that's going to then deliver the winds they need to carry on. So there might be that little hiccup. And then after that, this is the route here. That's the rum line. And they're all going to sit in it for a few days, which will be enough to get Penduic to the finish. You can see there is plenty of good following breezes, Spinnaker stuff, blue sky. The sea will die down a bit. This is on the 10th, and that's probably a day before they arrive. So they will have had a great run towards the finish. And then there's the 11th. And it's just starting to soften off on the 11th, but it'll take Penduic all the way through. So there's no way anyone can catch her if everything holds together on the boat. Touch wood, and I'm sure it will. Touch wood, even though you say these things and say, but anything can happen. Yeah, it's never over a fat lady sings. Yeah, but they're looking good, that's for sure. And we'll have a look at the IRC in a minute, because there's nothing at the back here which is going to assist them versus be a negative for Penduic. So, in fact, there she is there. Where we got? Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, first in line on us, first in IRC. So, Penduic is looking really good to take the double on this last leg of the race, which is very impressive. So, let's wait and see how that pans out. And then just going forward a bit, you'll see that it does go a bit quiet on the home run, and certainly some of the back boats like Triana and so on, they'll be challenged in some of this possibly. So then, Triana's getting close to Maiden, but as in physical distance, to make sure they're getting a similar sort of weather. But in reality, there is a potential there for some winners and losers. If Maiden keeps hooking on to this stuff and Triana gets hooked back in this stuff, there could be 2 days in it, but I doubt it. But who knows? So back to today's weather and pick it up a bit so we can see what's going to happen now in a bit more detail with this hole here. Can Penduic keep up with it? She's currently doing 8.8. So let's say 8 knots. So it'll be a couple of 100 miles. And here goes the first day. So you can see here, big problems for a few of them. They're not going to like that coming over them, and they'll slow down. So that's the reality. And there's 1 day ahead. Now, I think she's going to be okay, because that's on the 8th right now, and Penduic's coming this way. Yep, she's okay. She's going to get straight through that, I think. Yep. So going to be around about there. If you can imagine, draw an imaginary line across the top of Spain here and down there, that's where she's going to be right in 24 hours. So around about there. I don't know. I don't think you can see my cursor. I need to hit that to get it moving again. We're going to be about there in 24 hours. And then it's swinging across. It's going to be very light. So that's 2 days' time. So let's say 190 and 190, 18. So that's 280. Oh, it's I think she's going to be okay. I think she's going to stay just ahead of it. But anyone behind is going to have a problem. So, and you can see back here, there's these boats coming up. The Spirit of Helsinki, the Spirit of Kip, Neptune, they'll be on this side of it, so they'll be okay. Maiden could be down in the quiet here. I hope so. If Triana wants to stay close, that's what they're going to have. Triana coming up here. Yep, some problems. So it's still wide open for Maiden and Triana. Explorer going up this way could come into some of this light stuff. It's all softening off a bit. But Sterna's going to hold this pack. She's definitely hooked onto this pack. So it looks interesting. Enough of that. Let's have a look at the leaderboard. Line on is straightforward. Penduic, the Spirit of Kip, Spirit of Helsinki, translated Neptune, Maiden. So it goes Outlaw, Evrika, Galliana, Triana, White Shadow, and so on. Then we go for IRC, and we've got Penduic 47-17, and the Spirit of Kip 47-18. Isn't that interesting? But I really see Penduic getting that breeze all the way through. She's going to stay just ahead of the hole, and I think the Spirit of Kip will be stuck in a little bit of the hole, which will give Penduic a bit further of a break. It might not be huge, but it should be enough. So I'm expecting Penduic still to hang on to that, but let's wait and see. And then 1 day behind that is Translated 9, but forget about that because they're not even going the same direction. So that means it's Neptune. Neptune's 2 days behind, so there's no threat there. The issue with Maiden and Triana, Maiden is 51.9 and Triana is 52.13. So pretty much 1 day in it. There's only a day in it. Galliano was secure 52.29. So yeah, it's starting to settle down now. We're so close to the finish. It's looking like Penduic should be able to hold that, but only time will tell. We're going to have a quick peek at the overall rankings now. Takes a bit of a rollover. So combined results. Ooh, the tension. Ooh, jeepers. Okay. Here we go. IRC Triana 82.2 and Maiden 83.17. So it's 1 day and 15 hours. They're closing the gap. They're absolutely closing the gap. So they've got 1 day and 15 hours to take out of that. And I think 1 day and 15 hours, it's entirely possible. I'm not saying they will, but it's possible that Maiden has an opportunity in some of this weather coming up. If Triana gets stuck behind, it's potentially, there's a potential opportunity there. Whether it happens or not, we'll have to wait and see. But what I'm really trying to say, I don't know whether it's going to be Maiden or Triana. I think it'll be Triana, but there's opportunities there. So it's not over yet. It's not as if it's a done deal, assuming nothing breaks on any of the boats, touch wood. It's still up for grabs. So good luck to both of them. And then Penduic, this is interesting because through all of the challenges that Penduic's had, including the 72-hour time penalty and other bits and pieces and blah, 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 they're not that far behind. So Penduic is, not that far behind at all. But only 1 hour or 2 hours behind Penduic is Spirit of Helsinki. And then it's a long way home to Galliano with Secure. That's bad luck for Galliano. But yeah, it's still wide open. So don't not come back to watch the tracker. You need to see what's happening in the next 3 days, two or 3 days. It could be, it's still open. That's interesting. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's call it there and come back here, and I'll just have a quick g'day. Not a lot to talk about for me because I didn't see the tweets, but I'm sure you saw them there. And Brian's been doing some good stuff. I'm still pleading with Brian to get his bloody books, but I haven't got them yet because we want to promote them, encourage you to buy his books. They're pretty cool, and you can buy them in different spots, but I really wanted to work that a bit. The other thing is I have absolutely finished the notice of race for 2027. And the entries open for 2027 Ocean Globe Race tomorrow. And there is some big news. The biggest news, I've mentioned it before, the biggest news is we've opened Flyer Class wide open now. If you want to do the OGR and you can't find a Whitbread boat, there's hundreds of boats that you have to choose from now that could qualify to race in Flyer Class. We may, depending on what happens, we may restrict the number of what I call open Flyer Class, because there's Flyer Class, which are Whitbread veterans, and then there is this new opportunity where, as long as the boats are designed and launched before 1988, and they're similar Transocean boats to the boats you're seeing now in Flyer Class, so real Transocean boats, not just around the boys ocean racing boat, like for a Sydney Hobart race or something like that, that wouldn't cut it. And it's less than 20 meters. You could theoretically apply to have that accepted under Flyer Class. And in fact, we may just call it Flyer Open Class. I didn't think of that. I like that idea because then it designates which is a Whitbread veteran and which is just another opportunity to get in. And we're mindful of this going forward because even the Whitbread boats are starting to get old and this, that, and the other. There's quite a few out there, but we want to give an opportunity for others to come in and race as well. So, and we don't give, if we reject a boat, or if we reject a design, there is a process to make an application for any new design in any normal flyer class boat. If we decide it's not right, we'll just simply say, sorry, it's not right, and we won't say why. We're not going to get into the argument to say, oh, this, that, because if we say, oh, because of this, someone will come back and say, oh, yeah, but what about that? And I say, sorry, you get one shot to promote your boat as an opportunity to join the Flyer Open class. And if we like it and it looks the same as the others and competitive as a group, so it's not going to be a downwind flyer that could just scoop the pool on Flyer class, then we'll seriously consider it. We'll let you in or we won't. So that's quite exciting. And then there's the Chichester class, and then there's a fuel penalty, and then there's some sustainability issues. And we're holding with mixed gender crew. We're not putting multiples of women. It's been an interesting topic of discussion in the last few months whether we should have 2 women on some of the boats, on the boats, just to give the other woman company and stuff. But one of them, and this will be what I'm about to say, will be controversial in its own right. I think it will, because I'm getting criticised already about it. It's disproportionate if we say on a boat like an adventure class boat that could have 6 crew, if we said you had to have 2 women crew, that's coming down to being a 33% of your crew has to be women. Now, I can say to you, and I don't know the real figures, but just generally what I see in ocean racing, I currently do not see 33% of women ocean racing. If I had to stagger a guess, I'd say there's probably 10% of serious, 10, 15%, maybe even high as 20% of women that are racing seriously offshore, because there's more boys into it than girls. Now, there's a reason for that, and I won't even go there. So if we said that you had to have an entry in the OGR with up to 33% women on your crew, there'd be a bit of a riot maybe on some of that. So we think it's really working. We set a mixed gender crew. We've had nearly 30% of the crews overall in the OGR have been women, and they've had a really good run, and been able to live their dream and this, that, and the other. So we're just letting it go as it is. It's just mixed gender crew and youth crew again and things like that. So so that's pretty exciting. We'll see what happens, and that'll be made an announcement along with the MGR. Our mini globe race is looking good. We could have somewhere, we've got about 14 in the mini globe race starting the beginning of 2005, but we could have up to 18 minis racing around the world, which is really exciting. It's quite interesting. And so if you're thinking of that, you've got time to build your boat and get in it, or buy one of the existing ones. Okay, enough of that. It's the weekend. I tend to waffle, but there you go. Sorry about being late. G'day, Rob. Hope we just launched a mini at the Royal South Australian Yacht Squadron on Saturday. Dan Turner's boat, mini globe race boat. So daylight savings ended. We just started last weekend. G'day, John. Yeah, we're here. The other thing is that tomorrow the tracker will be normal time, and then on Tuesday it'll be at 10 o'clock because we head out of here. We head out of Les Sables d'Olonne just after lunch on Tuesday, and then so Tuesday will be an early one, and then Wednesday we'll be in the UK, and I should be online by the time. So it's probably back to normal timing. So that's cool. Yes, leaving for Cowes on Tuesday. Whoop, jeepers, that skipped up too many then. Okay, thanks for being here. Good on you, Warren. The team talk about the Azores high. They don't know it's not a perfect shape. The old days, yeah, exactly. It's all a bit all over the place, but maybe it's in this early in the season as well. So all fine. We always bag the weather, Anyway. Not on YouTube, post after. It's not on YouTube. It's suggesting it's on YouTube here, but anyway, probably not. I'm back for the live. Good day, Peter. Francis, hello. Really windy in Cowes. Yeah, I can see that. It's going to blow. It's going to blow here as well tomorrow. It's raining again. We want it to not rain, but never mind. On weather.gov, you can see the weather facts images they transmit over the radio. I'm looking at the mobile. Yeah, exactly. You can. All of those weather facts images are, available at various places. And nowadays, when I was a kid looking at weather, you used to get the newspaper. On the back page of the newspaper, you'd get all the isobaric weather maps. And so we just brought up with that, right? But nowadays, no one's seeing the traditional isobaric weather maps. And a lot of people look at it, what's all that mean? what's an occluded front? What's a warm front? What all these little symbols and signs. And for us white-haired guys that are losing all the hair, that's all we used to have. So it's very straightforward. But for others now, they look at it and say, "Wow, that's amazing. What's that mean?" And in fact, I saw another article about the OGR, how we're bringing back some of the traditional methods of navigation, like with sextant and stuff, but also weather interpretation, and also Kirsten did another piece and just saying she's very articulate on the benefits and what she got out of the Gold Globe race. And one of the big things is that it's like situational awareness. You just get to do all these things manually. You get to absorb the weather and look at the weather and try and understand what the weather's doing with each other, rather than actually just looking at a computer screen and looking at grid files and just someone telling you all the time without actually thinking about how the weather's being generated. So and Tapio gone about all that sort of stuff as well. The OGR brings back a lot of issues that most sailors nowadays don't have to deal with. They just look at a screen and they see where they are on the screen, and that's it. So it's all good fun. G'day, Paul. G'day, John. 2 hours, 1 hour updates on it. Yeah, the T9 is 1 hour up, 1 hourly updates, just so we know where they are. Maiden will be in port watching Triana Tracker. Yep. Yeah, it's quite interesting, the whole Triana Maiden thing. They've got a chance, so it's not a done deal yet. Anyway, that's it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks a lot. See you later.